Welcome to another IPA webinar, and today's topic is plumbing health and hygiene. This is a very important topic and will always remain an important subject throughout the lifetime. Today is a very unprecedented day in the sense the weather condition has not allowed so many of our panelists to come in and join. I am sure that after some time they will join us. We have on board Mr. Atul Goyal, Mr. Sandeep Talulikar, Architect Hiten Sethi, Mr. Shankar Kanchwala, and Mr. Udham. All are leaders from their respective fields. IPA President Gurmeet Singh Arora is the moderator, and he will brief all the panelists as and when they join in brief. I also welcome Mr. Michael from Gabriel, as Gabriel Company is the sponsor of the day. Friends, plumbing is directly related to human health, hygiene, and environment. Looking into various issues which may rise when we restart after an unprecedented lockdown, IPA has prepared a white paper, guidelines for remedial measures for plumbing system after COVID-19 and other infections. This is being launched today and would be available on the IPA website, indianplumbing.org, for downloading. Your queries and suggestions are most welcome. In the near future, IPA is also launching its IPA News, a monthly newspaper, and a new class of membership, professional membership, for which details would follow. Now I hand over to Mr. Shankar Ghime for introducing the today's speaker, Mr. Michael from Gabriel. Over to Mr. Shankar Ghime.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to all. Myself Shankar Ghime. I am the chairman of Indian Plumbing Association Untitled Chapter. Nowadays, you all know that thing, we are stuck up at our homes till now, and now government is down lockdown policy because of the economic point of view. Now we have to be very, very careful about ourselves while using public places, particularly washrooms. And looking into unlock situation, Indian Plumbing Association has planned a very fantastic knowledge sharing with fun-filled panel discussion on the topic of importance of plumbing in health and hygiene in various sectors such as residential, commercial, healthcare, hospitality, and so many public places from user, operator, and designer's point of view. But before that, we would like to know from manufacturer's point of view, what is the importance of plumbing in health and hygiene. And for this, we are having an expert, Mr. Michael, to give insights about the same. Michael Alenspar is Head of Technical Services and Product Management, Gabriel Plumbing Technology India Private Limited. He is an expert with 24 years of hands-on expertise in the field of plumbing. Michael started his vibrant career as an apprentice in a plumbing company in Switzerland. He holds a degree in Swiss Federal Certification in Plumbing. Throughout his career with Gabriel, Michael gained a wide range of experience in various sales organizations. During the past 10 years, he gained intercultural knowledge and competencies staying in East Asia, particularly Hong Kong and Shanghai, and India too. Out of his 7 years, he is based in Bengaluru, heading the technical service department and is actively promoting system solutions. Additionally, he is member of the management team of the Gabriel India. Welcome, Mr. Michael, for your wonderful session. Over to you, Michael. Michael.
Thank you, Shankar, for the nice introduction. Thank you, IPA, for setting up this webinar, which is on the topic of the hour, hygiene. This is not only in the plumbing industry at present, it's discussed all over. Just yesterday, I took part in a survey from a hotel chain because I was wondering what questions they're asking. I was not surprised that 3 out of 10 questions have been related to hygiene. In the next 15 minutes, I'll cover the topics time of touchless and drinking water quality. Further, trigger some points where the industry has to work together to achieve long-lasting results. Today's topic, hygiene, is one of the 10 technology areas which play an important role in the plumbing industry. Having know-how about them enables to deliver continuous system innovations. Many of them are connected to each other. For instance, electronics and hydraulic are closely connected with hygiene. Only if hygiene has been studied in the past, tested and proven solutions can be delivered today. It would be wrong to limit the topic of hygiene only
Michael,
to touch.
I'm sorry to disturb. Your presentation is not on.
My presentation is not on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sharing once again.
Yes, now it's there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the information. I assumed the presentation is on. Okay, I once again go back. So as I said, in the next 15 minutes, these are the topics I'm covering: time of touchless and drinking water quality. Then today's topic, hygienic, is one of the 10 technology areas. I mean, the one which is missing here, which is important to deliver innovative system solutions. However, it's not only a question that is the time of touchless. You probably already know that touchless not only looks better, but provides generally a better hygienic feeling. Studies show that the rating for hotels and restaurants highly depend on the cleanliness of their washrooms. Their importance will surely increase even further with the current situation. If touch or touchless depends very much from the target group. Private, semi-public or public, the center of importance depends on the kind of building you are working on. For instance, touchless or vandal-proof is getting more important the more public the place gets. Topics like water or energy consumptions would be equally important in all the categories. Apart from touchless, let me list some other qualities which should be considered by selecting a product. Easy maintenance, vandal-proof, especially important in public areas. Then reliable planning. There are different power sources available. And self-adjusting sensor. And also not to forget the intelligent flushing systems, which are helping to save water. And most important, the products should also be self-sustainable. Having beautiful products such as this is not the only important factor to keep the drinking water hygienic. Not only the visible part needs an upgrade. This brings me to the next topic of my presentation, drinking water quality. Quality of the drinking water improves. You can read that in newspapers all over the country. Here, one example. They also mention some responsibilities, like for instance, usage of leak-proof pipes or cleaning of the overhead tank all 3 months. All this sounds simple, but is it really practical to implement? And what are the responsibilities? what to do that the rules are followed. These and a few more questions I'm leaving up to the podium discussion to take it further after my presentation. Further, and this was not mentioned in the newspaper, it is very crucial to optimize the drinking water installation to ensure good quality. I'm coming back to one of my earlier points. Who is responsible? In Switzerland, where I'm from, drinking water comes under the law of consumable items. Everyone in the chain bringing water to the tap carries a responsibility. As you can see on the slides, there are different stakeholders involved. You have, on one hand, the supplier responsible for the processing and distribution, and then, very important, the MEP consultant and contractor. They are responsible for the planning and execution while they are considering the hygienic aspects. And of course, it's also their responsibility to select and use responsible material. Then also the owner is involved. He has to ensure regular checks are executed. For instance, all 3 months, the overhead tank should be cleaned. He is responsible that this happens. Then he also has to organize replacements if required. Even a tenant carries a small responsibility. For instance, he should ensure that the usage of all tapping points. I mean, in India, I see a lot of apartments, they have 3, 4 bathrooms, and not all of them are used. So if that's the case in your apartment, please ensure that once in a while you are flushing the tapping points. That's very crucial, and yeah, please don't just waste the water. You can use it for gardening. If you don't have a garden, you can also wash your car, or there are also other possibilities. So now it's time to act. This is the responsibility of different parties such as MEP consultant, contractors, manufacturers, and also organizations like IPA. As we heard in the beginning of this presentation as an introduction, IPA has already done a lot of work. So it's now time to sit together on a table and update norms, design standards, and ensure clear regulations which are practical to implement. Also enabling modern plumbing solutions to be easier adapted in the country. Now I'd like to share an educational movie on this topic.
We explain how Geberit contributes to optimum drinking water hygiene. This is Max. He's a plumber and is working with Bob on a project for a housing association. Bob is in charge of planning and wants to make sure his customer Lisa is provided with the prerequisites for perfect water hygiene. Ultimately, as the one in charge of the building's technology, hygiene is her responsibility. Still, everyone must contribute to it. There are some things Max and Bob need to pay attention to when it comes to planning and installation. Drinking water systems are at risk of bacteria growing in the water, even if the water from the purification plant is perfectly clean. In particular, Legionella can grow in pipes that are rarely used. Legionella is a threat to be taken seriously. At medium temperatures, if the water is stagnant, these bacteria multiply and can even be deadly. In the shower, they enter the body through the airways. But how can Max and Bob make sure that Legionella can't multiply? To be safe, they need to follow a few guidelines. For example, stagnant water must be regularly replaced with fresh water, especially if a connector goes unused for a longer period of time. The solution is a circular drinking water pipe. That way, the water is always in motion. To keep dirt from getting into the water system, all components should be protected. For example, by caps on the fittings and pipes. It's also crucial for the initial filling to be hygienic. Geberit's drinking water systems meet all of Max and Bob's requirements. Not only do all the components come with the required approvals for building hygienically impeccable drinking water systems, but the technical advisors give them all the expertise they need. A water temperature of 60 degrees is ideal for ensuring that Legionella has no chance. And if there might be any interruptions of use, the Geberit sanitary flush is a good choice. It ensures that the water doesn't stagnate, like at the holiday apartments that Lisa takes care of. Now, Lisa is exceptionally happy with Max and Bob's work. Thanks to them and Geberit, her apartments are free of dangerous Legionella and always have hygienic drinking water.
Let me summarize and share a few checkpoints which are important measures and need to be taken care of to safeguard drinking water quality. Focusing on hygiene, but also covering aspects of water and energy consumption. Protect pipes and fittings. No, it's not only the material only which can ensure optimal hygiene. It is the system solution which does. It also includes the delivery and storage of the material. Should it be a few further requirements to ask the manufacturers that this is mandatory? No water between 25 and 55 degrees. Hot water should be heated to a minimum of 60 degrees. Cold water pipes should not be exposed to sunlight. Example is, at my apartment, I can take a shower in peak summer without switching on the heater because the cold water pipes are heated up because they are outside on the roof. So it's basically energy consumption. However, this is exactly a danger zone because the temperature of the water would exactly be above 25 degrees. Further, no stagnation. So avoid unused pipe sections. If this is not possible, flush out the pipe sections which are not used frequently, or even dismantle the section for time being. Seven seconds you have just waited. 7 seconds should be the time you're waiting maximum to get hot water at your tap until it arrives. This is a rule to help to save water. Else water is flowing until hot water is reaching to the tap, and it normally takes much more time. And it also helps to save energy. It requires insulation and a hot water return pipe to avoid energy loss. Another insider I like to share here: never plan or install a hot water pipe below a cold water pipe because heat is traveling up. Material supplier can contribute with products or ideally with system solutions. At Geberit, we provide system solutions throughout the building, starting with water supply over to the usage and followed by drainage systems, which are taking all the aspects of hygiene into consideration. We are equipped with the fully fledged know-how to consult the market in all the segments. Now I'll share a short clip which shows what we at Geberit are all about.
war das genau?
And what about the pipes?
Huh?
Und was ist mit Schule? Und was ist mit... Und was ist mit... Und was ist mit...
Fertig. Fertig.
So thank you. That's it for my presentation. Thank you once again to IPA for giving us this opportunity to share this presentation.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much. Am I audible to all of you? Michael, am I audible?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Very good. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are already 452 participants and about 700 on Facebook. We are about 1152 now in this webinar. The importance of plumbing in health and hygiene of the user cannot be overemphasized. Plumbing holds an important aspect in all our lives as it delivers fresh and clean water for ingestion, for cooking, cleaning, for our hygiene and all human needs to take away your waste in a clean and hygienic manner. The ability of plumbing and sanitation systems for clean water and to remove waste has protected millions of populations from communicable disease. Throughout history, there is an acknowledgement from within the public health community that clean, drinkable and potable water has likely protected more lives and extended life expectancy more than even any medical advancement. Plumbing advancements continue to protect lives in developing nations. 70% of the communicable disease is transmitted through bad quality of water. Diarrhea, incidentally, I do not know if you all know, is a bigger killer than even cancer, AIDS, or even the new coronavirus. It takes away 3,000 lives every day. I do not know, but how many of you know, but the plumbing engineering degree is called a PHE, a public health engineer, because he is your water doctor. He is responsible for protecting the health of millions. The COVID-19 virus has brought with it greater needs for cleanliness and hygiene. Here too can now be emphasized the need for plumbing industry. Regular hand wash, cleaning of all areas of use, disinfection, and even washing is now the novio norm to prevent the spread of the infection. We are hence in a situation today that we cannot live without proper, correct, and prescribed plumbing services. The Indian Plumbing Association has hence felt it necessary to address this need through this webinar titled Importance of Plumbing in Health and Hygiene. We have renowned speakers. We are very lucky that they all joined because I am from Mumbai. 3 of my speakers are from Mumbai. And Sandeep Mendirata, who was coordinating the whole program, is also from Mumbai. And till about half an hour back, we had no connectivity. Architect Hiten Sethi lost the electricity in his building because of the cyclone. Even in my own lane, 2 trees have been uprooted. We can't go out of the lane. Cars can't go out. We can walk across, of course. There is a slum close by where we had more than 500 people in our building till 5 minutes back under our garages, protected, giving them tea and biscuits, because after all, these slums are on the seaside and they are not protected, as you know. So before we start the webinar proceedings, I would like to launch the COVID-19 document. IPA has come up with a document for post-COVID-19 construction sites, and we would like to launch this document today at this webinar. Nivedita, can we launch the document, please? There's no sound. This document is available on the IPA website. You can go to the IPA website and download this document. It's a very, very important document, and this document has also been merged with the ASSOCHAM document, where 5 societies have got together and launched the post-COVID document, including CREDAI, including ISHRE, including FSAI. Now we have a very, very interesting panel discussion, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. We have 5 renowned panelists, but we also have some questions for the audience. So after my 4th question to the panelists, my 8th question, my 12th question, and my 15th question, we are going to open up questions for the audience. And believe me, it's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of chat pe charcha. So grab your tea, bring your tea, do your tea and tea break before the session starts. I am sure you're really going to enjoy it. Let me introduce my panelists to you. My first panelist is my dear friend, Mr. Sandeep Talalikar. Sandeep, can we have your screen on, please? Can we see you? He started his, Sandeep, in his 70 days as home has become shakal. He has become bald. He was not bald earlier. Anyway, he started his hospitality business journey as a young boy under the guidance of his grandfather, who was a pioneer of the hotel industry in Goa. After finishing his master's degree in hotel and food technology and administration, and after having worked in 10 countries, he has returned back to India for the love of his country. Sandeep not only runs the Jackson Hospitality Group as managing director, he also has a catering company, Mr. Chow's in Mumbai, and we enjoy his Chinese food sometimes. In fact, I would like to tell you, Sandeep once shared with me his Karela chips. I don't think any of you have ever had Karela chips, but I have enjoyed them. He gave me a big bag and I have enjoyed them for a few months. Thank you, Sandeep. So Sandeep is also the executive committee member of the Hotel and Restaurant Association of Western India. I am sure he will help us in signing a MOU between IPA and FARAI, the Federation of Hotel and Restaurants Association of India. I'm counting on you, Sandeep, for that. He is also a fellow of the CII IGBC and an executive board member on the main board of IGBC. My next speaker is Mr. Uddam Kumar. Uddam, can we have you? Can we see you, sir? Uddam has 20 years experience in the hospitality industry. Currently, he serves as the Deputy General Manager and Group Head, Maintenance and Projects at Wockhardt Hospitals. In the approximately 11 years experience he has had with the healthcare industry, he has also worked in many hospital chains like Columbia Asia and other reputed chains. He has 9 years experience also in the hospitality industry. As we know, hospitals and hotels are alike in the services that we run, except the medical care that is taken in hospitals. And he has been with the Oberoi Uday Vilas, one of the most reputed, and I think Uday Vilas has the best toilets in India, if I'm not wrong. The Lee Meridian Hotel and the Imperial. In fact, when the toilets were being built, I recollect Sandeep Goel was your consultant at that time through Spectral, and we were not even allowed to take photographs of the toilets. They were so secretive of their toilets, right? My next, Hiten, can I have your camera on, please? Our next panelist is Hiten Sethi, an architect extraordinaire, true intellect, creatively entitled professional with iconic designs enshrined in Indian architecture's Hall of Fame. His expertise lies in urban design, master planning, commercial, residential, institutional, transportation, hospitality, and healthcare. Is anything left, Hiten, to design now? Anyway, for 2 decades, architect Hiten Sethi has steered his firm to achieve greater heights and win several awards and accolades. Creativity with a sense of practicality and green ethos are part of his design. He is known for his enduring structures with an aim for sustainability and coexistence with Mother Nature. He also leads the sustainable design movement as the vice chairman, Mumbai chapter of the CII IGBC. He's also on the IGBC board, and he heads the railway rating system, the rail station rating system. And under his sleeve, we have about 600 rail stations now going IGBC green. So very well done, Hiten. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hiten is also part of the MOEF constituted expert committee, the SEAC, Maharashtra. He is involved in designing and retrofitting over 80 million square feet valued at 160 billion rupees. Mr. Sethi is a recipient of many awards, international and from India, the Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation. I remember I went there to give the shield. I think it was gold, IGBC gold. It has entered the Limca Book of Records, and he was awarded for that. He has been awarded for the National Cancer Institute in Nagpur for the best designed on oncology center in South Asia Pacific by GHT and Bernstein, Singapore. Best New Hospital of the Year in Asia Pacific by GHT Saigon. He has also won the Estrade Awards in Singapore as Architect of the Year for his projects Amarante Kalamboli in Residential Architecture and Wonders Park in Best Leisure Architecture and Design. Of course, SIDCO, Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation, the Government of Karnataka, Daman and Diu, Assam, IDBI, Bank of India, Reliance L&T, SEBI. The list is too long, Mr. Hiten Sethi. I won't read anymore. Hiten is also the Navi Mumbai chairman for the IPA. He's a fellow member of the Indian Institute of Architects. He's part of the Council on Tall Buildings and Urban Habitat Chicago, and also the former chairman of the Navi Mumbai of IIA, member of the PIATA. Welcome, Hiten. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Gurmeet.
And thank you for getting the power back in your building. 10 minutes back, there was no power and you were not able to enter.
I was running up and down, yeah.
I know. Well, we have the fourth panelist, Mr. Shabir Kanchwala. Shabir, can we see you, sir? Shabir is the Senior Vice President at K. Raheja Corp, having been with the group for over a decade. An evangelist for the green cause, Shabir spearheads the sustainability initiatives for real estate, hotels, malls of K. Raheja Corp for the last 11 years. And he has many other key functions in the group, which include purchase, contracts, project coordination, heads all the Goa region projects, and he has been in the construction industry for the last 3 decades. Shabir has led the green transformation with ranges, green buildings for new developments and existing projects under the Bill Clinton Climate Foundation under their Building Energy Retrofit Program. Shabir's continuous commitment to the cause has led K. Raheja Corp to be widely renowned for stirring the path in green building sector, with the majority of his residential, hotels, malls, commercial projects being LEED and IGBC Green, Gold and Platinum certified. In fact, Shabir is also on my IGBC board, and the largest green footprint for IGBC is from K. Raheja Corp. So you can imagine Shabir's commitment to the green cause. Shabir has a master's degree in structural engineering from the University of Cincinnati and a bachelor's degree in civil engineering from Sardar Patel College of Engineering, postgraduate management diploma in real estate and financial management from NICMAR. Shabir, what do you do with so many degrees? Shabir excelled as a student, receiving a University of Cincinnati graduate scholarship, research assistantship, and Frank Messers and Sons Scholarship, USA. Our last speaker panelist for today is Mr. Atul Goyal, an entrepreneur, an engineer by training, a nation builder by choice. Armed with a BE Civil from the Bharatiya Vidyapeeth, an MBA Finance from Pune University, a degree in Family Business Management from India School of Business, Hyderabad, and a diploma in law from ILS Law College. Shabir, I think he beats you in his degrees, or you are nearly similar. Anyway, a second generation entrepreneur, Atul joined the family business in 1996, 24 years back, and worked his way up the organization as a trainee engineer, going into different positions in his company to train himself, and therefore he has all-round experience in running a construction company. The high-end Ganga Dham, a project that reinvented the entire area and the city of Pune, created a new iconic address, the first 5-star hotel with 120 keys in the electronic city under the Lemon Tree brand, the first 1,500 crore retail project in Nagpur, the high-end World Trade Center in Nagpur, the CBSE board school run by his group in Pimpri with 2,500 children at present, a 2,200 crore project at Siagar Road ongoing in Pune, the 1,000 crores value luxury project at Gangadham in Pune, the International Finance Center in Pune. I'm not even naming all their projects because if I do, this webinar will be over. Atul has conceptualized and acquired land to deliver to 20,000 affordable housing projects in Pune. And he has also acquired land to deliver 25,000 free homes to slum dwellers by 2030 in Pune and 8,000 free homes in Bombay. So he has conceptualized to deliver 33,000 free homes in Pune and Bombay. Turban and hats off to you, Atul. Atul is also working very closely with the Maharashtra Metro Development Corporation and the Indian Railway Stations Corporation to conceptualize and develop real estate projects in Pune and Mumbai. Due to the cyclone, Atul has still not joined us because he is with in a Naredco webinar with Sri Piyush Goyal. However, he will be joining us, and as he joins in, we will take questions to him. So my first question is to architect Hiten Sethi. I am only asking you the question, Hiten, so that your power doesn't go off, in the middle.
Sure.
You are a leading architect, sir. With the unstoppable spread of COVID-19 as a lead designer, what are the changes and precautions you would incorporate in the design parameters of the building services for the health and hygiene of occupants based on WHO recommendations in preventing the spread of the infection?
Yeah, hi everyone. Gurmeet, thanks a ton to make us a part of this interesting panel. So, the guidelines are changing, Gurmeet. As you know, WHO guidelines are also changing every minute. What is happening is the first basic underlying principle for everybody is that something is what you summarize it as control to survival. The baseline is that you have to control this particular pandemic, and that's how that becomes the baseline of any design intent which an architect or engineer needs to follow now. So you need to study the patterns. I'm doing a couple of COVID emergency hospitals, and we had less time, and we wanted to see how those particular hospitals can be converted into quarantine centers or even quarantine hospitals or COVID hospitals in 20 days time.
In fact, I would like to interrupt. I believe you're doing a retrofit also into a constructed building into a hospital. Yeah.
Sitco Exhibition Center has been now converted into COVID quarantine center. So we have been given 20 days. I think we finish hand over the project on 6th of this month to NMMC. So it's like 1140 beds hospital. The important point which I wanted to convey was that so what were the basic parameters which you need to consider? So we went through various WHO guidelines. We went various guidelines given by IMA and other organizations, in which we came to conclusion that first of all the characteristics are still it's still not finalized, it's not concluded. So what we have identified is that the spread is through surfaces, air, water, even fecal matter. So the whole process, the design approach is towards tackling all these particular issues under one particular design solutions. So what we did was we actually talk about two kind of controls. One is passive design controls, intents, and active design intents. So you can control temperature, you can control disinfection, you can introduce UV lights in your particular projects, in air conditioning, you can improve air quality. Then the physical contents of keeping social distancing, surface treatments which have less cohesiveness to the virus and bacteria, air filters and purifiers which can be introduced on different places, masking, hygiene, co-working spaces. I don't know whether you've seen the Cushman Wakefield 6 feet policy document. It's a very interesting document in which they say the whole office industry, all the whole commercial industry is going to convert into 6 feet principle. So that's a very interesting principle which is happening. Again, we see the spread is happening through fecal. A person who is staying on the lower floor or the upper floor, if he gets a particular virus, and we've seen the lower floors getting affected by it, even if they are keeping social distancing. So that means even wastewater disinfections become a very important part to treat these particular things as a part of design intent. So virtual working spaces, the way the people pattern of movements are there. So all these particular things need to be sort of identified and rectified and modified in order to attain the same level of safety and a healthy atmosphere. So I think as the lockdown opens up, I feel that we are going to have more. I don't think new projects are going to be conceived very soon, but I'm sure there are lots of retrofitting projects which may come in, and which will require this kind of holistic approach to address these particular issues and implement them simultaneously.
Thank you, Hiten. Thank you. Shabir, the next question is to you. You are one of the leading developers with several residential and commercial properties. Under your ownership of K. Rahija Corp Group are the In-Orbit Malls, Hypercity Mall, Shoppers Stop, Crosswords, and a huge chain of hotels. I'm talking of only commercial properties now. All these have common public toilets which are used by a wide spectrum of visitors. How do you propose to protect the public health to stop the spread of the virus within your visited commercial properties under your control?
Good evening, friends. At the onset, I would like to say that we've looked at the whole gamut of COVID in a new mantra, what we call as the touchless mantra. What it primarily means is that for our commercial mall and hotels, we are looking at the customer entering his workplace or his hotel room or the shop in the mall by going touchless. Having said that, when I look at the touchless part in the bathroom scenario, the person who enters the particular commercial property would look at a particular door of the toilet with a foot opening facility at the bottom. And when he enters the toilet, the taps would be touchless in the sense that they would have sensors. The urinals would have sensors. The paper napkin would move from a touchless facility. So also we are also looking at the dual flushing system, whether there have been inputs given to us by our CP sanitary manufacturers that they're looking at flushing which can get touchless in the sense what is used at the airports, where the sensor would do the flushing, once you get out from the toilet. So the mantra being touchless, is what we were looking at. The fact being that when you enter even the main door of the office or the malls, other than the other COVID control treatments of your temperature or of your the number of persons, restricted number of persons entering the lifts, we are looking at touchless operations of the lifts, either with a Bluetooth or with a foot pedal, at the entrance of the below the lift buttons. We are also for a particular mall specific. We are looking at online slot booking for visitors before entering the mall. The restricted number of persons. Of course, the toilets would get sanitized and all the washrooms would get sanitized at a larger interval than they normally would have been done. So these are the protocols that we are looking at the customers to be followed. For the hotel industry, it is evolving in terms of how the whole scenario will work. Since we've got our partners in terms of JW Marriott, 4 Point and Sheraton, we're looking at recalibrating the way this business is going to be conducted from a guest service and hygiene perspective. There are structured modules which are being worked out for a particular protocol, whether it talks about check-in and check-outs, whether it talks about the toilet usage in the room, whether it talks about the common areas, and do's and don'ts for the hotel staff and guest. So on the whole, the whole other mantra in terms of touchless is we look at everything what our management calls as reinventing. So we are trying to reinvent the entire health and hygiene portfolio in relation to all our 3 portfolios of commercial malls and hotels.
Very good, Shabir. Thank you very much. Reassuring. Well, I'll tell you, I got married in 1986. I went touchless long before you did. Okay, anyway. My next question is to Mr. Sandeep Tolalekar. Your Jackson Inns Hotel in Fulton was the only CII IGBC certified platinum hotel in its category. You are also thinking of investing in other hotels and running other hotels. I won't take the names right now. At an average, a hotel requires 150 gallons of 567 liters of water per occupied room for cleaning, guests, laundry and kitchen. The National Building Code 2016 prescribes a lower range of 320 liters per hotel bed per day, per hotel bed, not a double room, per hotel bed. But for resorts, and you are thinking of running resorts also, the NBC prescribes 800 liters per room per day. How do you supplement your water requirement at your hotel and resort and still call yourself green?
Gurmeet, first of all, thank you for inviting me to talk on behalf of the hospitality industry. Number two, I want to thank, there are two people, of course, Samir Gupta, who's my business partner and mentor, and Dr. Premsi Jain for allowing me to take the project into the green platinum area. Now, next year, we were hoping to make it a net zero project. But coming back to what you had taught me, you said, what you don't measure, you cannot manage. You say that so often. And we take that to heart. And we, at that time, when we looked at Fulton, which was in a rain shadow area of Maharashtra, we said we would be lacking water, which we did in the first 3 to 4 years. We made a water treatment plant that was 90,000 kiloliters of water. We realized over time, as we did everything very green and measuring and recycling our water into the ground, that we didn't need the 90,000. We came down to today around 60,000 kiloliters. And this is because of our sewage treatment plants, all our measurements, pH, TDA, everything that we measure about water. Water for us is incredibly precious in Fulton. In May, today I'm very proud to tell you that May is the only month when we need to supplement water. Our groundwater now, our ground table is so stable that it takes us right through 11 months of the year. This was not the case in the past. In fact, 3 other farmers around us are very, very blessed because of our water table. If you come and see Fulton. So in May, we need tankers. Other than that, we don't. So we don't have to supplement our water every month of our operations. And this is all because of the platinum culture that we have.
Can you in half a minute tell us what are the green features you have incorporated, even though it's not part of this webinar?
We have a complete cycle. We have the water treatment plant. We put it through the sand filter, the carbon filter, the softener, and then in the hotel itself, before it goes into the ice machine or on the floors into guest water drinking water, we put it through an aqua guard process. Also, in between is a UV filter. So we take care of what we, in fact, think are bacteria and viruses, in the process. So that has really, really helped us. We've had absolutely zero cases of what you were talking about, diarrhea, jaundice, and all the other diseases. Now we are challenged with COVID, and let's see what happens.
That's right. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you. My next question is to Mr. Udam Kumar. Udam, are you there? Sir, you run a large and leading chain of healthcare facilities and hospitals. A lot of frontline workers, nurses, and even doctors are contracting the coronavirus. In fact, even patients have contracted the infection on visit to healthcare facilities. What hygiene measures have you implemented and what are the challenges you face to prevent the spread of the virus from your facilities? Udam, are you there? Udam Kumarji?
I think he joined. I think his signals are bad still.
Then we'll go to the next question, and then after that we have a question for the audience. I'll come back to you, Hiten. The need for fresh water would increase drastically for hygiene purposes. 25 hand washes a day translates to 50 liters of water. You know, BMC only gives us 90 liters per head per day to a maximum of 5 occupants per flat. When fresh water supply is finite, how will you cope with this novel requirement of hygiene and health?
Very interesting question, Gurmeet. In fact, I was wondering on the same parts. Individually, yes, public spaces, I mean, it's going to be still more. Now, what's going to happen, I think, is that, as I earlier told you, I mean, some protocols will have to be relooked by every individual. It's not going to be policies which will be dictated by Government of India, WHO, or any United Nations, but it has to be a self-disciplined policy which we need to do. First of all, if you want to save water, use less water. So that's the principle. And when the necessity comes, inventions definitely are on the way. So what I feel initially is that I think we'll have to washing hands. Since you took that example, washing hand itself would require that you find some alternate sources of disinfecting your hands, maybe in the form of alcohol-based sanitizers or whatever. But eventually, everything has its pros and cons. I mean, there's an effect on skin for these excessive use of these particular things. So I think there'll be a lot of implementations of mixers, which will be evolving in due course, where we use less amount of water for such kind of things. There may also be a protocol in which we have, like, you have a general habit of when you want to wash your hands, just on your tap, and then till the time you're soaping, your tap is on, and so on. So your pattern of using water has to change. It has to be a self-conscious thing. I think kids will be much more savvy in looking at these particular factors than most of us around, because we have habits die hard. But eventually, these will be the small measures which will help us to evolve out of this particular thing. But I'll also like to tell you, like in domestic airport, in international airport, Santa Cruz, I did realize that all the standard water, we designed a part of their infrastructure, and we had given them the STPs, which were evolved for a larger capacity. We were actually very happy to know that the standard water sanctioned by corporation was not even reached. My consumption never reached to that particular point. And we were talking about, actually lessening the STP quality, because I'm not using that kind of water. So I think with passage of time, similarly now in washing and other things and preparing more hygienic conditions, I think new novo methodologies will be definitely sinking in amongst all of us.
Well, Ethan, as you know, you're also part of the green building movement in India, and now we have a net zero rating, or close to net zero. We move towards, we have a lot of projects which are net zero on water, where we rainwater harvest, we treat 50-60% of our water, and we use low flow fixtures and low flow sanitary ware, or even contactless sanitary ware, where the water consumption, when you're soaping, brushing or shaving, the tap is automatically stopped. And that saves about 35% water. Your STP gives you back your about 50% water, and the rest comes from rainwater harvesting. So we have lots of projects in India which are net zero on water now.
Right.
Yes, yes. Now we'll have the question for the audience. Minesh, are you there? Uddamji will take your question after this.
Okay, fine. Yeah, now is everyone ready in the audience? We are coming up with some few questions which you all will enjoy. There are some serious questions and some questions with funny answers also. To start with the question. The first question: who invented the flushing toilet in 1596? Everyone in the chat box, and the people on Facebook Live can also answer that in their comment box.
Minesh, what is the prize if you answer the right answer?
in their houses or in their offices with biscuit. That's what you can do right now.
Only biscuit. Okay.
Yeah, chai and biscuit.
I think it's still chai ka time. ठीक है.
Can display the options. Display the options. Yeah, the options are John Harrington, James Commode, Harry Flushing, George Washington. Now let's see what are the answers people coming in. What are the answers coming in? Yeah, someone is answering option A, John. There are many people who are answering John Harrington.
James Commode also.
There are 15 seconds. Yeah, majority are going with option A. Some are with option C. Okay, good. I think let's pop up the answer. Sushant, can you just pop up the answer?
He's done it.
Answer.
It's come, John.
John Harrington. In fact, James Commode, Harry Flushing, and George Washington were created by me. They are George Washington because of wash. It's nothing to do with the WC. Anyway, now let's go back to the panel discussion, and then after the eighth question.
Yeah, we'll have the second question.
So, Mr. Uddam Kumar, am I audible to you, sir?
Yeah,
Yes.
now I can.
Very good.
Yeah.
Sir, you run a large and leading chain of healthcare facilities and hospitals. You have a lot of frontline workers, nurses, doctors contracting the coronavirus. Patients also contract infection on visit to other healthcare facilities. I'm not talking of WOCAD, but
Yes.
solutions.
Yes.
So what hygiene measures have you implemented post COVID-19? Sushant, please put yourself on silent. At WOCAD, what hygiene measures have you implemented, and what are the challenges you face to prevent the spread of the virus from your facilities?
Okay, fine. First of all, I would like to thank to Indian Plumbing Association for conducting this kind of webinar for creating the awareness of COVID-19 pandemic. Regarding the hospitals, we ensure we provided first of all to both entry, exit, and entry gate to hand wash facility with the soap solution. Whoever coming in the hospital, whoever, either staff, either any OPD patient, either anybody is coming, they should wash the hand, and then it's go to on the making distance on security guard. They will check the thermal temperature of the body. Then they will give the mask and they will give the hand sanitizer. Then only they can enter the hospital. If they want to go outside the hospital, the similar has to do the same process. They should wash the hand, then they can go out of the hospital. Even the staff as well. So whoever they are doing the patient service, that are directly contact to patient service, just like nurses and other technicians as well, we have provided the PPE, personal protective equipment. And the last one, which is very, very important, the all things they are doing or not doing, the regulatory monitoring is happening. The all across area, either the non-clinical area, either clinical area, either people who they are wearing the mask, they are using the hand wash, they are doing the hand wash or not. These are things that regularly we are monitoring. If we talk about the challenges, what we have faced the challenges, what happened, the clinical staff, they know how to do the hand wash. They used to wear the mask, used to wear the hand gloves as well. The only thing we faced the problem to training the non-clinical staff. The non-clinical staff, you think about the other staff, housekeeping staff, engineering staff, other area, the non-clinical staff wearing the mask and hand gloves and doing the wearing the PPE and doing the work. They were not comfortable for the 2-3 days. Then we done the lots of drill. After 4-5 days of drill, they are comfortable to doing the work within PPE. That was there.
Thank you. The next question is to Mr. Shabir Kanchwala. By the way, Mr. Uddam Kumar, you since you visit all your hospitals, you must be meeting a lot of good-looking nurses also.
Yeah.
So, right now you have to wear PPE, but not in future, right?
No. See, if we talk about nobody can say the COVID-19 when will go over. So whoever coming, the hospital patient, we treat like a COVID patient.
Correct, sir. Correct. You're right.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shabir, the next question is to you. The demand for water will increase drastically for cleaning, disinfection, hypochlorite spraying of vehicles, washing and new hygiene requirements. Now, most of your properties are IGBC certified gold or green. And there are certain commitments you have made to the maximum water consumption. Now, how do you propose to augment this water supply to meet the new norms of required water?
So before I answer that, I've known Gurmeet for a long time, and his sense of humor makes great sense now in this dismal COVID atmospheres.
And in the cyclone today, by the way, my house has got a lot of water coming in free of cost.
So yes, there has to be a balance now between the safety and health and hygiene in the COVID atmosphere and the requirement of water in a green building scenario. So I believe IPMA and IGBC have come across with revised COVID guidelines, which we are having a look at and seeing how best we can do the water balancing for a green building. Having said that, we are looking at augmenting our sewage treatment facility requirements, which we have, because like you mentioned, that the number of cubic meters for which an STP was designed and the output which is coming out, whether we can treat it more and whether I can do a water which is not only fit for drinking or for other parameters. So my freshwater requirements from the municipality, kind of remains the same in the water balancing scenario of a sustainable building. There are challenges. It is difficult. It is right now too nascent to know whether we will have a success in this particular way we are trying to do. But yes, that is probably the way to go, because specifically in a country like India, where water is a very scarce resource for all of us. So we need to balance the health and hygiene versus the requirement. Of course, all our green buildings have got the other water conservation measures like use of low plumbing fixtures. Then we've got rainwater harvesting. We have used a drip irrigation system. Since we use only native plants in our landscape areas, that is why the requirements anyway are less. So the savings anyway in a gold-rated IGBC building comes to the tune of around 30 to 40%, which in the COVID scenario will obviously reduce, and maybe we'll end up with, say, less than 20% of water savings. Having said that, we are also looking very seriously at the sewage treatment plant hygiene facilities, because that is something which is worrying us, as mentioned by certain European countries, especially in Germany, where they have talked about COVID particles in the STP output. So we are looking at chemical cleaning of the STPs on a frequent basis, sanitization of areas even around the STPs, and we are seeing how we can treat the output of the STP in a much better manner. So yes, the balance is an ongoing process at K. Raja Corp.
You need to disinfect the STP treated water before supplying it back, because it can carry COVID-19 traces as per the newspaper reports. Now, we are not still very sure about this news, but the newspaper reports have said this.
Yeah, exactly. What you're saying is exactly what we are looking at, because even though if it's going to go into flushing where there is actually no real human contact,
yes,
or there are if we were to look at using them for car washing, or we look at using them for where human contact is there, then that is a very, very important requirement in the COVID scenario.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shabir. Thank you. Sandeep, I'll come back to you now. You have a wide experience in the hospitality sector, including running 5-star hotel resorts, where the guest profile would have maximum foreigners. 70% of the communicable disease is transmitted through bad quality of water, including diarrhea, dysentery, cholera, typhoid, hepatitis A, among so many more diseases which are transmitted through bad quality of water. How do you prevent any spread of disease and infection in your resorts? Now, I have a lot of foreigners who come to my house. We wash the salad and the vegetables with treated water. We give them bottled water, not mineral, but bottled water, Bisleri or whatever. And still after one day, they say, pet kharab ho gaya. So how will you prevent this in hotels like you were at the Wildflower Hall as the general manager, you were in other hotels also? How do you prevent infection from spreading?
Well, first of all, Gurmeet, there is no such thing as foreigners versus Indians for us. They're all guests. Okay, so we use the same, how do you call it, treatment for all of them. You've restricted me only to the water part. So
No,
I'll
you can,
stick to that.
you can say what you want, no problem.
But just to let you know that, again, water is very precious to us and also to the health of human beings. So we have to treat it before it is consumed. And I touched on it in my last answer, that we have an entire series of treatments, right from sand to carbon to softener to aqua, AquaGuard, and all these then come into either the water comes into the kitchen or goes into the room. So we have, getting ready for COVID, touched on 95 different points now, where we believe that we are creating this protective bubble around the guests and our, of course, associates, so that we never have a COVID incident that relates to our hotel. Now, water being one of the most important ones, we had to be very careful about how we handle it. Temperature wise, what Michael talked about in his presentation, 60 degrees in the boiler. We are talking about hot food that, of course, that comes out of the kitchen. And this very important process we have started before COVID to remove plastic. So we had stopped bottled water and we were using our glass bottles. Now with COVID coming, it becomes very important for us to think about those processes on how we are going to bottle water in our guest rooms. Shakbir, of course, knows very well the hotel industry and is into the 5-star league, of course. But once again, our guest is uniform throughout the stars of hotels and throughout, their cultural background. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm incredibly proud to tell you that at the Jackson Inns, we are doing all the processes to keep water clean and about food clean. And now that somebody spoke about STPs, we use our STP water not only for flushing but for our organic farms. And now with this idea of COVID being found in the STP water, we are waiting for, some sort of direction on how to treat our water extra, so that this problem never comes into the food cycle of our hotel. But all in all, I'm welcoming the guest. I'm waiting to welcome the guest on 8th of June. And there's nothing more I want to say about this.
Well, you've been calling me to your resort since 1 year.
We don't come.
Shabir, we all are supposed to go together for the IGBC meeting.
It seems like you'd rather go to the hospitals to meet nurses than come to my hotel.
Okay. In fact, I'm going back to the healthcare now. Mr. Uddam Kumar, I'm coming back to you now, since we missed you in the beginning. So both the plumbing systems for fresh water supply and sewerage and the medical gas pipeline systems require specialized service. Post-COVID-19, do you recommend any major changes within the design parameters of these systems, especially based on contactless technology? Even the taps, you use the long stem taps for doctors to open and close with the elbow. Even that will not be sufficient now, because anybody can touch it with the hand also. So how do you plan to move towards systems which are completely contactless, sir?
See, some of things I agree with you for the changing of the few things which if you talk about the doctors tap the long tab which can be operated by the elbow and the legs, foot legs as well, and some are the few automatic as well. I would say in non-COVID-19, in other viruses as well. If you talk about the hospital industry, lots of things are the touchless. Very touch, minimum touch base. If you talk about the OT door, OT system, all are the very touchless and the automatic door. If you talk about the plumbing system and MGPS system, yes, of course, agree with you. The things are required, even the general washroom, it's required to automatic, either should be very minimum touch, either touchless is required. I can say the totally automatic operations required, because what will happen, the people are coming. Hello, I got disconnected.
Yeah, you are there now.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, it's a network issue. It's quite network is very frequent. It's going on, off, on. So either I recommend it should be automatic, fully automatic. So what will happen? The people should be very less touch, and whenever something goes wrong with the repair and maintenance, then only technician engineers can go there and repair it. What will happen in that case? If the transaction of the virus is very less. See now and thereafter also after COVID also nobody knows COVID-19 when will stop, when will finish. But till then we are thinking we think about always COVID-19 is there in the hospital, in the society, or will use the everything as per think about COVID-19 is there. Will take the safety and hygienic in the entire plumbing system.
Very good. Thank you, Udamji. My next question now, Minesh, will you take over? Is for the audience. Again, we're going to have some fun in the question and answers.
Yes. Yep, Sushant. Hope everyone is ready.
We also have a lot of questions in the chat box. So if we have some time, we'll take those questions up also. Question number 2, Sushant.
Okay, which is the question to all? Which is the single most effective way of stopping transmission of a disease? Options, please, Sushant. Whether it is antibiotics, hand washing, contracting the disease, condoms. Wow. Now this is going to be a fun question. Let's see how people are answering.
Lot of E coming in also, huh? All of the above.
lot of E coming in. Yeah. Lot of E coming in. But see, the question is, which is the single most effective way?
Single. You can't have all of the above.
Yeah. We are not talking of all of the above.
See, the question is misleading. Now see the question.
Question is very tricky. Question says single most effective way.
Yeah, you have to choose one.
So out of all this, all the only one option. Option E is outrightly wrong. So the people who are giving, there are many people who are given B also. Let me see if someone has given option D, condoms.
B. Lots of people are there giving.
Yeah, there are some people who are given option D. Yeah, a lot of people they are given option D also, condoms. Condoms are used for stopping transmission.
Sir, आजकल contactless technology है, B भी नहीं चलेगा.
Did you put this D?
I have only framed all the questions. Don't worry.
So let us. So the answer.
Hand washing.
Hand washing.
Yeah.
Oh,
so hand washing is the single most effective way of stopping transmission of a disease.
Very correct. Very correct. If you do the frequent hand wash,
yes,
you will 99% save from the viruses. Any viruses.
And to everyone's information, we had almost 260 answers to this question.
How many 260 answers?
260 to 270 answers to this question.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
So a lot of people, lot of attendance have.
Somebody has written thanks for the tea and
It's good.
biscuits. वो भी contactless है. वो भी नहीं मिलेगा.
That is also contactless. Exactly.
So Hiten ji, my next question to you: what, in your opinion, do you see the problem, challenges, and what is your wish list for the already battered construction industry?
Already battered construction industry.
RERA, demonetization, Benami Act, Indian Bankruptcy Code, 7 legislations which put the construction industry back by 5 years, and now COVID-19 has put them back by another 3-4 years. RERA has been extended by 6 months, which means no new sites will come up. So what do you feel? We are all attached to the construction industry. It's a question, interesting answer for all of us. So what is your wish list and recommendation for the construction industry?
The first thing we all agree, इससे बुरा तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता है. So whatever will happen positive now. So only thing is time to consolidate ourselves with all these particular things is going to take time. And as you said, RERA is not a simple thing, because you said it's going to get extended by 6 months, but there's a rider, there are emergency cases which they're going to take, and that will be in the discretion of the judges, in which they will plan on the cases which have been delayed for earlier time. So it's not going to be that simple that everything is going to get extended and we'll have 6 months to plan our strategies and recoup to a particular thing to restart our good practices as they were earlier. I think the landscape of business has changed for all. Now, this I told, in fact, after demonetization, that I don't see the same kind of clients in the industry now. I mean, they have a different approach. They have a different thought process.
Benji, mute हो गया.
Mute हो गया इतना.
Somebody is muting me. I didn't do anything.
आपकी बीवी तो नहीं आ गई आपके आसपास?
नहीं, अभी नहीं है.
अच्छा, ठीक है.
वो भी टचलेस है, रिमोटलेस है वो.
अच्छा, ठीक है.
So I think the whole industry definitely from 2014 is seeing, 2016 is seeing some changes or the other, and it's very hard to predict that what will be the fate of industry. Definitely, next 1 year is going to be a severe bloodbath in all different levels. First of all, to adapt to a new environment which we are living with COVID itself is going to be a biggest challenge. Its implications in socio-economical, health, culture, in society itself is going to be something which will be new to everybody. I mean, we never remember times when we never used to shake hands or hug each other, but I think that will be the start where you'll be, they say, doing namaste. As basics as that, things have changed. So I don't know, really, I don't have that answer that how it is. Optimism is one thing which we always carry in our industry, which we should have. That wait and watch and strategize yourself with every changing this phenomena which is happening, because the impact is not only in finances and your way you used to work. The impact is completely world over. Banking systems are changing, government policies are changing. I'm not sure even the type of hotel industry what we were talking about, Sandeep was talking about, with all its love and affection for all his guests and things, maybe the same right away. And people will have their own thing. Transportation industry, if you read it, it's going to go for a change. It's going to be isolated travels. We have a 4 or 5 vehicle cabs, and now I think people are talking about having partitions between the front and the, like what we have in the western part of our globe. So there are so many things. I think it's going to happen. I really don't know. I mean, how do we fit in, and how do we even assess the kind of damage which has happened to all of us? Only thing is, I can just say we'll have to take baby steps towards recovery, and we should have strategies, long term and short term. We should be very clear in the mind. Every individual vertical will have a different strategy and a time period to cope up with, and we should be ready with the positive mind.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. I'll come back to Mr. Sandeep Talalikar. What is the importance you give, and what are the proposed changes you have incorporated related to health and hygiene of your guests post-COVID-19?
Gurmeet-ji,
don't repeat the same answer.
No, but what Hiten Bhai said a little bit about it. I believe that the death of the Aarti Tikka era may be slightly more exaggerated than is led to believe right now. I think right now we are reacting to something that is so new to us that once we become flexible and we adapt to it, then slowly and as the vaccine comes, maybe the hotel industry will go back to somewhat the old normal. But I think what we should learn and be very proud of, and I'll tell you this in a story, is our Indian heritage. Should be proud to be Indians. I'll tell you. First of all, I don't think Namaste should have ever left us. Okay, now even the Western people are using Namaste. This stops your virus, infection to a great degree. Number two, I think I never understood why my grandfather used to shout at me every time I came back from playing. I came into the house with my shoes on, I jumped on the furniture, and he would always say, Papa, remove your shoes outside, come in, wash your hands, wash your feet, gargle, and then change your clothes and come for dinner. So all these things were sort of always in our mind. We just lost it somewhere. And we have to now bring it into the hotel industry. So instead of telling you that 95 things we're doing different and all the chemicals we're going to use and spraying the guest and this, that, and the other, I'd just like to read out something that I wrote that is going to be published, I believe, in the...
Are you going to be spraying the guests? I'm not coming to your hotel.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that. It's banned. It's banned by the way. Anyway.
What I'm saying is, I just want to read something that is going to be published in the Hotel Restaurant Association magazine, and it's a note to the guest, the future guest, from me. I'll start now. May I have the absolute pleasure of welcoming you all back to the Jackson Inns, your residence in Fulton. I feel so fortunate to announce that our facilities and all my associates and their families have successfully weathered the COVID-19 lockdowns and are now completely sanitized and ready to welcome you back. We have used this lockdown time to re-educate ourselves to all the new procedures recommended by WHO, our government, FSSAI, CII, and the various hotels and restaurant associations. We have incorporated all the new good practices into our cultural DNA. We have invested in everything that will keep you, our guest, safe from arrival through departure. We are sure you will experience our love, protection, and positive change. The hospitality industry may go through countless changes. What will never change is our focus on you, our guest. So welcome back, Atiti Devo Bhava.
Thank you, Mr. Sandeep. Thank you. So we will come to your hotel very soon. Shabir, we will go there, Hiten?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wearing...
Udam Kumar ji, hospitals at an average need 400 liters of water per bed per day as per the NBC norms. What are the checkpoints to ensure hygiene and safe water availability for 24/7, 365 days a year? Water in your hospitals. Hospitals never close, and water can never close in hospitals.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, well, regard the maintenance safe and hygiene water in the hospital, 24/7 in the 365 days. See, we have lots of checkpoints, and each and every we have the every unit, all hospital unit, we have the operation of engineering start 24/7 into 365 days. If you talk about your hospital checkpoint, we have the checkpoint from the initial level, from a starting, when the water comes from the either municipal corporation, either a water tank from the raw water tank. Then we have checkpoint for the filtration system. Then we have checkpoint for disinfection system. Then treated water storage tank. Then distribution level. All the level we have checkpoint, and after use also the all contaminated water, it's come to STP, and after only treatment we throw in the sewerage line. In that process also we have the supervision level checkpoint. We used to send the water sample for the outside lab to verify in the regular intervention of the lab quality test and the microbiological test of the quality of the water to ensure safe and healthy hygienic water available in the hospital. Although that is very necessary for the safe environment for the staff as well. These are the basic things we are doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have the next public question for the audience. Minesh. Mr. Minesh, are we going to sleep?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, I think yes.
Yes, Sushant. Can you just share the question? There are some interesting questions being posted in the chat box, which, if time permits, we should take up later on. Now, there is a public question. There is a what uses on an average 26% water in a home? Just hear the question properly. Again, there is a trick in this. What uses on an average water in a home? Answers, options, please. Whether it is singing under open shower, toilet flushing, husband and a wife having a shower together, or cooking.
We didn't hear you. Dishwasher and full load. I think you went off. Yeah.
Dishwasher, full load. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people are
cooking, dishwasher.
There are many people who might be using.
So lots of person they're giving the C as well.
C as well as D. I mean, a lot of people are having a shower.
Yeah, a lot of people are giving.
A lot of people are actually having a shower with their wife or girlfriend. Huh?
Yeah, all girlfriends. and they are sharing their experience by giving.
Oh, they are also fooling around with you now. Yeah.
In this situation, COVID-19 pandemic, we be careful.
Yeah, I mean, shower with the social distancing.
Shower with social distancing.
That's the answer.
Oh, that's why the water consumption is more.
Exactly.
वो तो मोदी भी बोलता है shower के नीचे social distancing रखो.
Sushant, can you just post the answer?
Toilet flushing is C.
Toilet flushing actually uses 26% of the average water in a household, which it is a proven. I mean, even as per NBC, when we talk of, we say 90%, 135 per person, 90% used for domestic and 45% is used for as a flushing. We can start the panel.
Yeah, thank you, Minesh. Thank you. Prasanna, I'm going to be asking you a question after the next question to Shabir. My question to you is going to be on the importance of plumbing for human health, because you can transmit a lot of disease. So I'm giving you 3-4 minutes to prepare for that. Why plumbing is important to human health. So Shabir, my next question to you, as a developer, what is your recommendation to others on the importance of health and hygiene related to plumbing systems?
I guess plumbing, importance by developers, unfortunately, is not given the same as the finishes in a flat. People tend to look at either, even if it's a commercial office or with any other factor of the entire gamut of constructions. So when we look in the entire MEP scenario, when we look at electrical, when we look at air conditioning, where we look at plumbing, where we look at, unfortunately, air conditioning and electrical get more weightage than the plumbing part in terms of the entire gamut. Though that is unfortunate, because if you look at providing adequate shaft of plumbing, the plumbing shaft, that needs to be adequate enough for a particular amount of maintenance for a human being to go and do maintenance in a plumbing shaft. When you look at maintenance of the pipes, when you look at the various parts or the various fittings in a plumbing, all that now in the COVID scenario will the developers be forced to look at providing the necessary space and technology. At K-Raja Corp, we have looked at plumbing very differently. Whether it is importing anti-knocking pipes from Sweden, or whether we look at using the CPVC pipes, whether we look at providing the particular fittings and the requirements. So it's very important that we do not look at only budgetary constraints for providing plumbing, but we look at plumbing, which is a pain point for whether you look at a commercial office or for a residential flat from a long-term perspective. In addition to the fact that the health and hygiene of the occupants as well as the facility management workers, both are important in terms of its usage. So like I said, so when we look at providing fixtures, when we look at providing the shower, when we look at providing the drainage for the water to flow, when we look at all that has to be adequate. So our management, whether we looks at this very differently. So we would probably one of the few developers who provide lifts. The number of lifts are more than the requirement. The lift size is more than the requirement. Our plumbing shafts have platforms, adequate platforms at horizontal levels for the maintenance workers. Our plumbing material is state of the art. We go all around the world to source what we can. Now, in India, we have got now very good plumbing fixtures available, made in India. So that's something which has happened in the last 7 or 8 years, which kind of helps in the entire health and hygiene scenario. So yes, if we provide good quality plumbing fixtures, whether it's in a downtake, uptake, and all that is going to go in a big way in stopping, the spread of the particular virus. Because if there is minimum maintenance to be done in terms of the entire gamut of CP, sanitary uptake and downtake, that is what is going to help the industry.
Thanks, Shabir. Thanks. Prasanna, are you there? Mr. B.O. Prasanna Kumar?
Yeah, I'm there, Gurmit.
Okay, I'm asking you a question.
Yeah.
A plumbing engineer is called a PHE, public health engineer. Proper, prescribed and good plumbing is important for good human health. Can you throw light on this important aspect of plumbing?
You see, the plumbing is used to ensure the safe delivery of water. That is a well-known truth. And the clean water usage is made possible only through the plumbing, which is often taken it as a granted, in the industry. It brings the comfort as well as the beauty to our living, as we are able to use in several functional areas, such as kitchen, bathroom, with such easy, without having thought through what it would have been if there was no supply of clean water. So this is the biggest important. Now one of the industrial manufacturer, they are using, it is no more a bathroom, it is a glamour room. It is the shift has already occurred now. Not only hygienic as well as beauty is also looked into. This is the most important thing one has to look into that. Mr. Hiten will agree to this. The beauty has to come. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Prasanna.
Thank you. Thank you.
My next surprise question is to Mr. Minesh Shah. Minesh. Minesh, are you there? Have you run away?
You said surprise question.
Bhagya, Minesh.
Yeah.
Minesh, you're only talking of Kandam, huh?
What happened?
No, nothing. Sewage treatment plants have become mandatory in Maharashtra. Many occupants bypass the STP due to its running cost and the operation and maintenance hassles. Recycling of water is a necessity in today's scenario, with India having 17% of the world's population, but only 4% of the fresh water. How, in your opinion, can you augment the water supply at your building sites? As an engineer, how do you augment water supply at your building sites?
see, many governments have started making sewage treatment plants mandatory across the country. Not only Maharashtra, there are many states, Goa or Rajasthan, they have made STPs mandatory. But as rightly you said, there are many developers, many clients who are bypassing the sewage treatment plants.
We are losing you in between.
Now the first thing is, now the first point is recycling of water through STP has to be made mandatory. Could be developed by all the local authorities. That is the first thing. In that way, we almost save 30% of our fresh water. That's the first thing. Second thing is look at tapping the rainwater and doing a rainwater harvesting. That's the most important thing. And the third most important thing is use water usage by following various norms laid by IPA like WEPI. WEPI is a classic code, water efficient plumbing product. You can use low flow fixtures. Even IGBC green rating buildings have confirmed the use of WEPI for their. These are the three systems wherein we can always use, reduce, recycle, and adjustment.
Well, IGBC has
recover.
That's right. IGBC has adopted the Water Efficient Products India Guide for low flow fixtures, low flow sanitary ware, and low flow clothes and dishwashers. So all green buildings have to have this as a must. Can we go to some public question? We have one more question for the audience, and then I will allow 4 questions from the public. You already have 24 questions on your screen. Minesh, you can pick up any 4 questions for the panelists. But can we have the next question for the audience?
We can have a public. Okay, we can have a public question first.
Yeah.
You have shown the answer already.
Doesn't matter now.
Sushant, you already shown the answer.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's all right. It's all right. It's only we are only having fun.
What is the reason for drying your hands? Sushant, options, please. For me, the first option is the answer. Your wife will shout. Your hands will water will drip all over. Wet hands can spread germs and bacteria.
I think C should be the answer. Water will drip all over.
There are many people answering D.
Some are C also.
Yeah, many of them answering
many
D.
people are there answering D.
It's actually A. Your wife will shout.
Yeah, that's what I said. For me, that's the answer.
Yeah. Luckily, my wife is in another room, so she can't hear me.
Sushant, can you just display the answer? Correct. The correct answer is wet hands can spread germs and bacteria.
Very good. Very good.
In this COVID-19 scenario, wherein people
also they put it the B option as well.
Yep.
What was B?
This hand will slippery.
Hand will be slippery. Yeah.
Gurmeet, in the COVID scenario, it is important to wash your hands and also dry them. Both the things.
Yes, dry them with contactless. With contactless technology.
Dry them. Either use the dryer, either use the paper,
do
napkin,
like this.
whatever.
Do like this. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but dryer also needs to have a temperature because the germs stay in dryer. It goes through air.
See, the
dryer,
Prime
I don't think is a good option.
Prime Minister says you come
in the
over
hospital.
here.
In hospital, we never use. In the hospital, we never use the hand dryer because the air is the infected air is just circulating in the air condition. That's why
that's why I checked that hair dryer is not hand dryer is not a good option.
In fact, what you are doing, tissue paper dispenser without touching, contactless is the best available.
The tissue paper which comes down when you just put your with a sensor.
Yeah, I think that's the best option.
Yeah, but somebody will just put the hand there and tuck, everything will get emptied, Anyway, so Minesh, can we take some questions from the participants, from the audience? You have 27, choose
there is
4.
one question. Yeah, there is one question. Says touchless fixtures can only help in preventing spread through a physical contact. What about the aerosol spread through aeration in STPs? On one hand, flushing a commode is advised after closing the lid. 70% of energy in wastewater treatment is dedicated to aeration. Pure contradiction of principles. As a plumbing industry, are we only considering 5-star projects? What percentage of our population fits?
We haven't heard your full question. Have you all heard the full question?
No, I think the voice was breaking.
The voice was breaking and your question is like a lecture, Mr. Minesh. The question itself is like a lecture.
See, I'll cut it short. It short.
Yeah.
It aerosol spread through the aerations in STP. As a plumbing industry, are we considering 5-star projects, or what percentage of population fits into that 5-star category? So this is more on the touchless fixtures, question related to touchless fixtures.
We are not able to understand the question. Prasanna, can you read the question? What Minesh is talking about? Because Minesh's voice is going off and on.
Properly, he is talking on can a disinfectant can be used in commodes instead of flushing after every use. That was one of the question. I don't know exactly which question he is taking. Let us answer this question. We'll search what he is saying. The question says, can we disinfectant can be used after the commode is being used instead of flushing every time?
What is your recommendation to this question?
No, generally, one is on the use of disinfectant. It is only a surfactant which acts on the pan and the seats. But you need to flush entire the fecal material which is on the commodes, and you need to flush it. The disinfectant may not be the ultimate answer. You need to spray the disinfectant, allow it for 20 seconds or more. But after that, you need to wipe out. There are many procedures. So it should be a touchless, or generally there is a paper is being used, but this is not applicable generally for a residential when you know all your family members. It is only public area, it is a problem. Yeah?
Very right, very right. What about the next question? Any other question? BOBK.
Question which Ethan can answer. One question which Ethan can answer.
Yeah.
There is one question which Ethan can answer. What measures are we of places such as gyms, restaurants, bars after COVID?
What?
You're going off and on, Minesh.
He's saying what measures you need to take after the COVID using of the different gym facility and all these things. So
gyms, restaurants, bars.
You know, there is a guidelines which have come from WHO on I think 16th of April, which have actually defined the guidelines for all the different kind of working spaces which needs to be followed eventually. So first of all, I think for all these particular things, there cannot be a standard answers for different users. So your gymnasiums will have a different protocol, restaurants will have a different protocol, and so on and so forth. Like Shabir Bhai told about the malls and the hotels, Sandeep Bhai told about his hotel industry, resort industry. So everything will be a different this thing. So finally, if you really want to sort of generalize what needs to be done, I think first thing is that you will have to eventually see what kind of risk assessment needs to be done, because even in gymnasiums you have different kind of clientele and different kind of levels of services which you are going to offer. So I think first step should be that you should do an individual risk assessment of your particular protocol, of your particular vertical, in which you need to see or study your clientele, their usage patterns, staff usage patterns, maintenance people, and the byproducts of daily, sort of waste and all whichever gets produced at that particular stage. Then most important thing in all these particular things will be social distancing. So how would you maintain that kind of thing? So it becomes contactless. It becomes there's buffer between two individuals. So the risk assessment is going to be of three types. So one will be like your assessment, which will be like short time. Then you have a mid time, and then you have a long time risk assessment, which will happen, which will show its result over the time. So hygiene definitely is going to be the most important part. Hygiene, may you will have your, like we discussed about washing hands and keeping ourselves clean. Then there's going to be something which is called a respiratory hygiene, whether we create the mask, we wear the mask and all those kind of things. Now, of course, in restaurant, you cannot have two people sitting on the table and keeping a mask on them. But then in that particular case, you will have a table distances, which will be at least 6 feet. As I told you, Cushman Wakefield has come up with a 6 feet principle, which I even am following in my hospital, which I'm designing. So that's a very ideal kind of thing. So everywhere you will have to tweak you go to gyms, you will have to have your equipments, which will be placed in that. Pardon me. Then we have social distancing, of course, as we are this thing. Secondly, then your need to travel base of people, like we are having Swiggies and all those things. I think they will have to eventually be under control, because need to travel will be the next order of industry which needs to be followed, either in all the kind of industries which are going to be there. And then eventually the most important is regulatory environmental cleaning of your premises from inside and outside, which will eventually play a very important role in keeping your place safe and healthy for everybody. I think in short time, I can just pick up these points and put these points against your users.
Very good. Any other questions?
We will take a last question. I think as advised to wash hand regularly for 20 seconds, which leads to huge loss of water, as it tends to tap open during the rubbing the hands. What is the view? Already taps are existing. What to be done to save the water? So probably that is the question they are posing. See, they have the regular taps. While washing, rubbing your hand for 20 seconds, you have opened the tap and keep it tap open for 20 seconds. Then you're washing your hand. Then you are closing the tap. So there is a lot of loss of water. That is what their question is. And he is asking what is the view, how to correct this.
Prasanna, I think I had already answered in my first question. That was a part of my answer, which I told that this is a matter of habit. The habits have to change. So it's not about any new sci-fi scientific solution being governed by. It's going to be a simple, common sense protocols which a person, individual, have to follow. And sensor-based.
Sensor taps will help to a certain extent.
Sensor taps may have if it's not sensor tap, it's mechanically foot-based things. All these particular things are eventually the solutions which will be there to save water, but eventually it's going to be the common sense finally by the end of the day, which is going to
that is true. Exactly.
Make us do something fruitful for the society.
See, we do not have water for tomorrow. Whether you brush, when you're brushing, soaping your hands, washing your face or shaving, you have to close the tap and put it on again. There is no other choice. You cannot keep it running.
That's why in the hospital hello?
Yes. Yes, Udamji.
Yeah, that's why in the hospital, for hand washing facility, we use the elbow operated the taps. Whenever you take water, just you can stop from the elbow and you can open from elbow. It's a very easy operations by elbow operating tap.
Even post-COVID, sir?
Post-COVID.
Post-COVID, of course. Elbow operated, you can use any time. It's not required to change at all.
It's a hygiene. It's another level of hygiene. But I think the most important part, I think what we are missing during this COVID time, and I was reading somebody was little picky on that why are you cutting jokes in this particular thing. I think the most important is mental health during this time. I mean, we are all grounded for last 70 days, 80 days, and I think this is the only way we can be there together with each other. I mean, all study and no play makes a jack a dull boy. I think that's the way I think Gurmeet always picks up to be more make the atmosphere a little lighter and more cohesive in the whole situation. So I think mental health, I think we all missed out, which should be an important part of our COVID design as well as implementation in the programs, whatever we adopt.
PK, can we take up one more question of the audience before we stop?
Yeah, I think one is in the chat box. Is this a question or a suggestion?
Because our
Keep
discussion
scrolling.
is going very
Yeah.
to very. I think it's very informative what we are discussing.
Yes, we import STP units from US, work on aeration with no major moving parts. No, somebody has posted something else of his interest. That is not a question. I don't think so. We have more questions on this, sir.
Okay, so question
one,
to Sandeep
sir,
and Shabir. Supplying
yeah.
bottled water, what is this?
Yeah, one of the question probably somebody has asked how to correct. You already have the tap and the 20 seconds wash time. We are wasting the water because you're supposed to not touch the knob of the tap and clean the things. So maybe there are retrofit things which are already available in the market, converting it to foot operated things which are converted from the angle wall, which are fitted below the wash basin. Probably that is the best retrofit one can do it. That was my answer. Gurmichi, you can continue.
Yeah, I think we've had a wonderful panel discussion. Thank you, Hitenji. Thank you, Shabir. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you, Udamji, Minesh, and BOPK. Very interactive and lot of knowledge sharing. I think we must have more sessions like this because here we have an architect, a builder, gentleman from the hospitality and healthcare. So we have a mix of the entire construction industry. Thank you. I am really obliged to all of you for being here. Can we now go to the vote of thanks?
Yeah, Mr. Gurmeet, thank you very much. And it is a highly entertaining, fun, and informative demonstration this evening on the importance of plumbing and health hygiene. Entire panel combination is really stunning.
Thanks
for
inviting.
Also my closing remarks. As I told you, I'm married 34 years and I am contactless. Believe me, you'll remain very happy if you're contactless. Anyway, let's go to the vote of thanks.
It's become more spiritual now. Huh?
Yeah, because my wife is not in the room. She can't hear me.
Yeah.
I can't speak like this in front of my wife, right?
There's a Facebook recording going on, right?
I know, Sandeep, and I know you're close to my wife. Anyway.
Sir, you have all provided a number of ideas to our members to try in their homes, their workplaces. It is my privilege to have been asked for the proposing the vote of thanks on this webinar. I, on behalf of Indian Plumbing Association and the entire team of webinar committee, extend very hearty vote of thanks to all our esteemed panelists, architect Hiten Sethi, Mr. Sandeep Chalirkar, Mr. Shabir Kanchiwala, Mr. Udam Kumar, our IPA National President Moderator, Mr. Gurmeet Singh. We're really enlightened with your knowledge and presence. And a special thanks to Michael, Gabriel Plumbing System, India, for your support, sir. Thank you for our knowledge partner, IGBC, Triple ID, ISRE. Finally, thanking all the participants who took their valuable time in logging into this webinar, actively participated. Thanks and bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Gurmeet. Thanks, Sandeep.
Bye.
Thanks, Minesh. Bye, Gurmeet. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Sandeep Mendirata, the convener of the webinar committee.
One second. I need 1 minute only.
Yeah.
I'm seeing in the chat everybody's asking that we should have more session like this. So I request all of you. You can write to us on what subject you want to have. We can have a multiple panel discussion program also, so that we can use couple of hours. So please write to us so we can organize some good session for.
Yeah, the email ID of Mr. C.S. Gupta is secretary@indianplumbing.org. Secretary@indianplumbing.org. It's very simple. You can write to Mr. C.S. Gupta on whatever topics you feel we should discuss, and we will take it up.
Fine.
And the entire recording will be available on Facebook Indian Plumbing Association page. You can view it anytime for coming time, even for after 1 month also.
And we had eight questions for the public, for the audience, but we only showed 4 today. 4 we'll keep for the next webinar.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for your support.
I have indicated the email ID of Secretary of Indian Plumbing in the chat.
Okay,
So
very good.
I request all of you to please write on this email ID. We will organize a good session for you as per your
All the best.
requirement.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Michael.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Shashanka.
Thank you. Thank you.